Talk is presented by Botano. The game starts now. Here are your hosts, Brent Wallace, Jason York, and Bobby Ryan.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coming in Hot. Brent Wallace alongside Bobby Ryan and Jason York, who has the Ottawa Senators alumni record for best plus minus.
Well, you might be right. You might be right about that. No, I know how to change.
Stay at home
battle. Half the battle's getting off at the right time.
Exactly.
We like to call those business decisions here on the show.
That's it. You start flagging them down 50 feet from the bench. Go.
Let's. We're not going to waste any time because he's now just joined us on our show today, back from Sweden. I don't know what the jet lag is like. Ian Mendes, our good friend from The Athletic. Welcome to the show, my friend. How is the sleep going at the moment?
Oh, the sleep was atrocious in Stockholm. I was getting like 2 hours a night. And now I think I'm okay right now. I hopefully I look fresh and normal. But yeah, no, it was a rough go in Stockholm. I could barely sleep, guys. Like I was sleeping 2.5 hours, waking up at about 1:32 in the morning, and then wide awake for 6-7 hours in a row.
Were you? I thought it was maybe because you were wandering around Old Town.
No. I wish I had great stories of that's the reason why there was a lack of sleep, but
no dice. All right,
no dice.
I think you look like $1 million, Mendes. So it's good to see you. How was the trip? I've been there twice before, both times I think with you. Did you? I guess just take us back to being in there for a third time and what it's like. I think it's a fantastic place.
Yeah, you know what? So I actually didn't go in 2017. And maybe that's the reason why, Bobby, your season went off the rails was that I wasn't there.
I think it's because I wasn't there.
Were you not there for that?
Hand.
No, I broke my hand. Yeah.
I have the one guy who wasn't on the trip on our show. Like one of the biggest stories in Ottawa Senator history, and I can't discuss it with Bobby because he wasn't there.
Yes, it's plausible. That was a business decision. Plausible deniability.
Exactly. But no, you know what? It was a phenomenal trip, and I was blown away by the number of Ottawa fans who made the trek. Not only from Ottawa, obviously, or Canada, but all over Europe. Like there's tons of Ottawa fans. Like people would come up to me and we would chat, and they would say, you know, that they grew up watching the Pizza Line or the great Ottawa teams of the late 90s, early 2000s, like Yorkie, those teams that you were part of there that made the playoffs in the late 90s. And they just fell in love with the team. Or one of my favorite things, too, is chatting to fans who fell in love with the Senators just based off EA Sports. Because early 2000s, they were a great team on EA Sports. And so you would just pick the best team. That's why a lot of fans were Detroit fans from Europe, too. So that part of it was awesome. I got a chance to spend some time with Daniel Alfredsson, which was great. Had a little window of time with Michael Landlauer, which was great. So just being over there was really a really valuable experience. But you know what, Wally, what was disappointing is like you talked about when we went in 2008 or when you went in 2017, there was a ton of media that traveled from Ottawa. And this time outside of, Dean Brown and Gord Wilson obviously called the games and they were there. I was the only one. And I don't like that. And I know people think like, oh, it's great for you. You're the only one. I look at it more of I'm disappointed that that's the media atmosphere. Look at oh my God.
Wow.
This is from 2007, by the way.
Look at my feet. What am I looking at there?
Very, very inquisitive.
Look how young Wally looks in this photo.
My goodness.
That's just before the Craig Hartsburg presser.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know where you got these. Can we move on from these?
That's 15 years ago. Holy cow.
That's old Apple technology. You guys probably even have iPhones back then. You're probably rocking Blackberries.
Yeah.
One of my I love those trips. But I do agree with you, Mendes, on the few numbers of journalists because all the questions don't get asked. You can't ask every single question. And so all that stuff, all those storylines don't get to be told. But I thought you did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And it's tricky too, because for me, knowing that I'm the only guy there, I don't want to ask all the questions on the podium because then I know everybody back in Ottawa is getting the same stuff, right? So I was, anyway, it's a challenge, but Yeah.
I think it all started after that press conference, Ian. I saw you got the hug from Adlauer after that press conference. I know what's going on here.
It wasn't a hug, but holy cow. You know what it was? He shook my hand and he kind of put his arm kind of on my shoulder to just, to tap my shoulder.
Yeah,
and I think
Bring it in.
the angle from the camera made it look like he hugged me. And then the internet went off with, oh my God, Mike Andlauer hugged Ian. And, it would have been more, we should have done a chest bump. That would have been better. Then there would have been no doubt of what we did.
Some kind of secret handshake would have been good too.
Yeah, exactly.
You brought up Alfie. I want to get to it. So in order to do that, I just got to get through this, and then Bob's going to do his Alfie hit, which is our hot performer. Hang on. This show proudly delivered by DoorDash. Do you know there's over 40, actually it's 35, I think, shopping days left. Make your Christmas shopping fun again. Put all kinds of items on it. You can get them from basically anywhere, even last minute finds. Finding that perfect gift has never been easier with DoorDash. Restaurants, groceries, bakeries, hockey stores, all that. Ordering is easy. Just open the DoorDash app, choose what you want from where you want. With the double dash or DoorDash, you can order from multiple restaurants or stores in the same delivery without additional delivery fees. So everyone gets what they need. For a limited time, 25% off and zero delivery fees on your first order, $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter code NATION25, all uppercase letters. That's 25% off up to a $10 value, zero delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store. Use code NATION25. Terms and conditions apply. Time now for our hot or cold performer. Bob, I'm giving this up to you today. You're fresh and you're ready to roll.
All right. Do we get a board yet? There we go. There's our hot performer. Daniel Alfredsson. We went away from the player trend and went to a new coach or role model, whatever we want to call him at this point. But
superhero,
honorary coach 2-0, paddle champion overseas. So he had a good trip. Great speech that has turned the season around a little bit. Gotten the boys to 4-1 when he spoke with Steve Stajos, and he was just everywhere in the media. Going home, obviously an icon in Sweden. So he's our hot performer. He's our DoorDash hot performer of the day, and probably will be again Thursday because the boys just aren't playing. So we might have to get Ian on a couple more pictures of Ian from over.
Mendes is pretty hot too. He's trending. He's trending. Right direction.
Oh, man. I'm disappointed. I was waiting for. I love when Bobby does the live ad reads. I was hoping
that's
he was
coming.
Do the DoorDash.
It's coming. Don't worry.
I have a couple scripts now.
I can't put everything on his plate, Mendes. We have to kind of ease him into it.
Yeah, it's only 8 o'clock in the morning here. I'm an hour behind you guys, so
right. Okay, so Mendes
now been awake 22 minutes.
What did you take out of that? Obviously read your article. I thought it was very well done. I thought he opened up a lot more to you. What did you take away from Alfie in that conversation?
Yeah, first
of all, tell us all the stuff you guys discussed off the record first.
All the off the record stuff. No, you know what? It was great. You know the thing I loved, and somebody told me about this in the summer, that when Alfredsson first met Michael Andlauer, they didn't want to go out in public in Ottawa, right? And I understand, like all three of you know, like when you're a recognizable face in Ottawa, and you could argue Alfie would be as recognizable as anybody, Andlauer was the new owner of the team or incoming owner, that if they tried to go to some restaurant or meet somewhere, it was going to spread like wildfire, right? Like everyone was going to know. So Alfie decides to invite him over to his place in Rockcliffe, and he cooks for him a lunch, and he makes Swedish meatballs from scratch. And I had heard about this in the summer, and I thought, I got to sit on this at some point, and I'm praying that this doesn't get out for 4 months so that when I go to Sweden, I can try to get Alfie to talk about the Swedish meatballs and all that. And so it was great. And Andlauer told me that Alfie's cooking skills were off the charts, and that he was I think he said to me, I was too embarrassed to ask for seconds because it was my first time meeting him. So anyway, that part of it was really cool to find out how they interacted, how they met for the first time. It was nice to kind of shed some light on that. But you know what? I like when Bobby just mentioned in his DoorDash read there for the hot player, giving Alfie the credit. The record since the speech was at 4-1, right?
Yeah.
Since Alfie. And so I asked Alfie, like, what did you say? Like, because Steve Stajos spoke to the group first, and then he kind of gave Alfie the floor. And what I loved is that Alfie's message to the players was details, details, details. That's how you win in this league. And that's how I became a Hall of Famer. Like Alfie is the type of guy that would tell you that it was his hard work was his skill. Like his skill was hard work. It wasn't just talent. And he could have coasted on the talent, but it was the hard work. And I think that was my biggest takeaway, is that he wants this team to succeed, but he knows that it's that attention to detail. And you saw it again at times on the weekend or last week in Sweden, like up 4-0. You can't, I don't care. I know there's some weird goals. You can't let that get to 4-4, right? Like you just can't. And it happened. And so this is what they're trying to iron out. And I don't know. Like, I don't think he's going to be behind the bench again on Friday against the Islanders. But at the same time, there's part of me that wonders, maybe it's worth it, right? Like maybe it's worth it to have him back there if this is what he's preaching.
Yeah. You know what that thing on he just reminded me of a story there, Ian. I used to train with Alfie in the summer. And you know, Bobby, there's certain guys that are really good players. They probably don't have to train that hard. Like they don't need to come into camp and win the squat test or win the strength test. Yeah. Alfie would come in and he'd finish at the top of everything every summer. It was crazy. And he would work so hard in the gym versus a guy like, I'll go back when we had those two great players, Yashin, who was just so physically gifted and strong. He'd be, that's enough. I'll just do 3 squats, or Alfie would hammer out 15. But over time, well, you see it, Bob, the guys that play a long time and have success, eventually everything catches up with you, right? But that's just something to remind me with Alfie. Like the guy just, it's one thing to say, he was a really hard worker, but I saw it firsthand. Like it was crazy how hard this guy, and he'd get on the treadmill and he'd run forever. Like he'd always try and beat you at, like we're seeing it at paddle, ping pong, but he'd do it in the weight room too. Like the guy was ultra competitive. So if a little bit of that can rub off the team, that's a real good thing.
Yeah, just the way he's wired, eh?
Just hardwired.
Yeah. What happens if the Sens were to go into a tailspin of like 4 games in a row they lose? Does Alfie come back behind the bench?
Oh, stop.
Go right,
Ian,
down the negative path, hey? Like they've won 4 of 5.
He's
Can we just enjoy
Wally.
this little moment of they've won 4 of 5? No, Wally's like, what if they lose 4 in a row?
Right? Well, you don't know our show.
I don't think he's going back behind the bench. So I'm just curious if suddenly they were to drop a few, people were like, oh, we need Alfie back. I have a question, Ian. Hold on. So this will tie into this. Jay in our chat. What did you observe when Alfie was on the bench? Was that just ceremonial or was he coaching?
So I was trying to pay attention, and Josh Norris told me, I didn't talk to anybody after the second game, but Josh Norris told me after the first game, like Alfie was super quiet. Like he wasn't overly, I don't know if maybe he didn't want to overstep, but he was basically stapled next to Davis Payne on the bench. I was watching, and obviously Davis Payne runs the forwards. Davis Payne runs the power play. And so I was watching, but he didn't look like he was overly, using his voice or demonstrative or anything like that. But I wonder if part of that was he was also trying to be a little bit respectful, right? Like this was an invitation from DJ Smith to come behind the bench. And I think Alfie is he's self-aware. And I think he knows that if Daniel Alfredsson starts yelling on the bench, he's probably going to drown out DJ Smith, Jack Capuano. Like he takes up a lot of space in a good way. Yeah, but in a good way. So it seemed like he was just trying to be back there as a calming presence, but wasn't like overly kind of in your face or anything like that.
Could you imagine all of a sudden he starts teeing off on the ref and gets a 2-minute bench penalty or just starts like the cameras. That's a great point, Ian. Like there's no one's coming on the bench and is going to try and drown out the coach, especially with today's hot mics, cameras. Like it would become a story within itself, right?
Oh yeah, or like exactly. Like no, I don't think so.
All right, what else did you take away from that trip? The general overall sense as they got back on the bird and flew home.
So again, like I think with this team, there's 2 ways you could look at the trip to Sweden. You could look at they got the 4 out of 4 points. Let's not overly complain, right? Like 4 out of 4 points is exactly.
I said that yesterday.
Was he convincing though, guys, when he said that?
He's positive.
I have a note that we can use some point to show how positive I am, but I'll hang on to it.
Okay.
Hold on, guys. I'm struggling with my voice.
Yeah.
Here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, fair enough.
I didn't realize you were keeping receipts, Wally.
Listen, I've done some work, and I can tell you where the season's headed based on the first 15 games.
I'm excited.
Wow.
So, but because we don't have any games until Friday, I may have to save it until Thursday.
This analytics you're talking about, Wally? You've got some analytics on
No, just some good old stats.
hard facts. Okay.
As we wait for Mendes, I'm a little concerned. But before that, then this would be a perfect time for Bob to step up and give us a great BEI read.
Oh, this show is always brought to you and built by our friends over at BEI, the heavy civil general contractor that is helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. You can find them for equipment rentals, aggregate topsoil sales, custom crushing, screening, hauling, floating. They move stuff. They're helping to shape Ottawa Valley. So when planning your next project, consider BEI for your aggregate supply needs. You can find them at bonisherexcavating.com or at 613-432-1120. As always, please slow down in construction zones. Thanks to our friends at BEI.
Also by Sober Carpenter, real craft beer, no alcohol. Hold the alcohol, keep the flavor, only 55, 60 calories per can. Enjoy the range of non-alcoholic beers so good that you won't have to compromise on taste, even if you want a healthier lifestyle. Enjoy a wide selection of beers, including Blonde Ale, West Coast IPA, and Irish Red. Look for it at Sobeys, Loblaws, Whole Foods, Metro, Farm Boy, and other retailers. Order online if you can. Sobercarpenter.com. Get 10% off when you sign up for the newsletter, 15% off when you order 2 cases and get 15% off free delivery. Sober Carpenter, award-winning beer, so good you'll forget they're non-alcoholic. Maybe Mendes could use one right now. I don't. Is he alive?
Man. No, sorry guys. You know what it was? I think it was like a 19-hour travel day back from Stockholm.
Ooh.
And I think being in the airport and hotels and the plane, my voice, anyway, it's super dry air, and now I just had like a coughing fit there. So I think I'm good.
Okay.
It's
Welcome
tough
back.
to I always found coming back was always much harder than going over to Europe for sure. It kicks the hell out of you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and I didn't get the benefit of at least the players and staff that get the charter, right? And you get I think it's about 8 hours direct.
You didn't get on the charter, right?
No.
Ooh.
Wally cost me that.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing. Oh, that's funny. That's a good one.
But you
Mendes.
know what? Sorry, to answer your question before I lost my voice there for a second. There's two ways to look at this team, right? Like you say, look, they got 4 out of 4 points.
Yep.
Let's not micromanage them or microanalyze them. Sorry, 4 out of 4 points. They did what they had to do. Whatever. And you know what? I think when you've won 4 of 5, I think they deserve some praise here for sure. But I think to me, like blowing the 4-0 lead wasn't great. Yeah. The way they played against Minnesota wasn't great either. I know they said, hey, we locked it down, but it wasn't. I wasn't. Let me put it this way. 4 out of 4 points is great, but I don't come out of it saying, you know what? I think they've turned a corner. I think I got a ton of confidence in them. I think the next 5 games or so, that's going to tell me if they've turned a corner. But they took care of business. I just don't know what the issue is, and maybe you guys would know, in the second period with this team. And I tried to ask in Sweden. They got outscored 5-1 in the second period again in Sweden. And I tried to, is it can't just be the long change like that. That's happening for both teams. But to me, that's the we talk about attention to detail, and the power play really, to me, was a problem in Sweden. I didn't like it. And Minnesota had the worst penalty kill in the NHL.
Yeah.
And Ottawa went 0 for 4, and it didn't even feel like they had grade A chances. And then in the Detroit game, in the third period of a tie game, if you recall, they had a 5-on-3, and it got negated pretty quickly, but didn't do anything there. I think Detroit took a puck over glass penalty, didn't do anything there. Detroit took a too many men on the ice penalty, didn't do anything there. Like, that's the part of it that leaves me a little bit concerned and not feeling like, okay, they've turned a corner. But 4 out of 5 wins is huge for this group right now.
Did you guys notice, Bob? Did you notice a lot of the power plays? Ottawa would get the power play, but Stützle would be on the ice for already 40 seconds. It was sometimes the timing. So he would end up not starting the power play, so they'd roll with that other unit. That happened. I'm trying to remember which game that was, but it happened about 3 times in a row. And
Yeah, that hurts. Right?
I think that has something to do with it. Like you need him coming out playing the first part of a power play because he just backs everybody off, right? He's an auto zone entry. But that I felt that, and sometimes that's just a matter of circumstance in games where the wrong guys are on the race at the wrong time, and then you don't come with them. And I thought that kind of disrupted the flow. I don't know. That was just me. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I noticed it too, but he's playing 25 minutes a night, so there's a good chance he was just out there for 40 seconds.
Exactly.
So
I know.
that does help. So you're not wasting a timeout to rest him for a power play. But I completely agree with what you're saying. Going back to Ian's shot at Wally, and I don't want to hear about the shot, but it was a great one. But I do have to ask, because you guys traveled together, well, obviously all the way back into 08, you said 7?
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. So there's got to be a story in there somewhere. Did he ever miss anything? Was it anything? I want to know. And I picture him traveling with like an itinerary in his breast pocket where
Who, me? That I travel with an itinerary?
No,
or Wally?
No, Wally.
Yeah.
Wally.
Yeah.
Hey, Mendes, before you get like Bob, you don't understand this. I've been around for a while, and this is a long historical relationship because it used to be back then. TSN and Sportsnet were mortal enemies. So these two were on opposite sides of and then they became frenemies. You guys became frenemies.
Look at this.
Look at these guys. A young Mendes.
Young me.
Clean cut. Yeah, clean cut. But it's been a long battle between these two guys throughout the years.
So there's got to be some kind of story.
A lot of history.
Well, hey, Wally, can I tell them and your audience
with a pocket protector in a suit? I just
Well, can I tell them the Weston Tampa story?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I will tell you, Bobby, you are basically correct. I would have an itinerary printed. I would have a binder full of info ready to roll at any moment on any event.
I believe that.
I completely, a little anal retentive.
So, okay, this is my favorite travel story with Wally. And this is from Ottawa played Tampa 2006 playoffs. Ottawa, Tampa, first round. Marty Havlat is just ready to come back. He's missed most of the season. I think we had a shoulder issue. He's ready to come back just before the playoffs start. And we're waiting in the hallway, just outside the dressing room for Havlat to come speak to us. As we're waiting, Wally thinks it would be funny. He has his TSN mic, and I think he had it on. It wasn't a wireless mic. I think it was attached. Anyway, Wally's swinging his microphone and decides to hit me right in the midsection, we'll say. Okay?
Right in the coin.
It hurt. And I'm doubled over. And then Havlat shows up right then, and I'm struggling. I'm like, I'm going to get this guy back. I'm going to get him back because that was garbage. That's a garbage move to do that to somebody in the
Hold on, wait a sec. Wait a sec. I will, before you further continue, we stand in scrums for like 10, 15 minutes. It's boring as hell. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah, there's other ways to make things entertaining.
I was done talking to you.
Nutsack shot. But anyway.
We go to Tampa. Ian, was it direct hit or a graze, though?
It was a direct hit.
Direct hit.
Direct hit. And so we go to Tampa, and we're staying at the Weston Tampa. The one kind of just around the corner from the arena.
Yep.
And Wally and I are staying on the same floor, and we go to bed. We went out for drinks or whatever with our camera guys, and we go to bed. And I'm going to my room, and he's going to his room, and it's like, hey, good night, Wally. Good night, Ian. Okay. He goes to his room and he closes the door. And this is back in the day. You guys remember this? Hotels used to have a little card you could put on your door if you wanted to order breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So I wait till he closes his door. I go back out and I take the breakfast card and I fill it out for his room for 6 a.m. Okay. But here's the thing. I thought, you know what? That's pretty garbage to like make the kitchen staff if you order like an omelet and all, like a huge thing. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to order a single glass of milk to his room for 6 a.m. So I put it on the door, whatever. So I don't hear anything. We go to the rink at the morning skate, and Wally's like sideways. They knocked on my door, and I opened it up, and there's somebody standing there with a glass of milk at 6 a.m. And he was so sour.
So because it's
Sour
playoffs,
milk.
so it's later. It's like 1 a.m. we get to bed, maybe 2. And
Good.
I hear the knock, and I'm like, well, that can't be for me. There's no. And then I hear it again, and I'm like, oh. So I get up, I look through the people. All I see is some lady with a glass of milk on a tray on her shoulder. I'm like, so I open the door. She's like, 616. I'm like, yeah, that's my. I didn't order this. Well, yes, you did. And I'm like, no, I didn't order this glass of milk. I was so perturbed. Let's just say, yeah. Well, so if I see at this moment like 6:16 time of day or anything, I immediately flash back to that.
Oh, that's funny.
Never
That's a
forget.
good one.
He's rent free in your head forever.
Yes,
I love it.
Totally. I totally have
Cunning.
PSD from this.
Love it.
That is cunning, Mendes. Very cunning. Well played.
Yeah,
Well
and a
done.
classic rated PG prank too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Very serving. It's very fitting, eh, Wally? It's well done. Just like you like it.
Yeah,
like his
it was good. And somehow we still friends. So I do appreciate it. Listen, the Havlet thing wasn't that big a deal. You have made it a lot bigger of a deal than it was. That's all I'm saying. You acted
I
like
think
you
these
were
guys
shot.
agree with me.
I love it. I love it.
All right, Mendes. I know you got to get to practice.
No, you know what?
so-
I'm taking the optional today.
He's
out.
I don't need to go there. What am I
Okay,
going to
I
ask
do-
them?
He wants
Well,
to stay on.
I thought you might ask about Ridley Gregg or Mark Cast. Like, do we have time frames? Do you know?
I'm sure somebody
anything?
will ask because DJ didn't speak yesterday and he didn't bring them up on the trip. Like, by the way,
Okay.
Thomas Chabot looked really good in Stockholm, like really good. Like his hand, like he was stick handling, but I think because he's on LTIR, he can't come back until the Columbus game. So
He's got missed at least 10 games, right? 24
yeah,
days.
I think so. But yeah, I would imagine there's going to be an update on Greg and Kastelik today, but it's not going to be for me. And then they have the day off tomorrow.
Got
So another day off for you. Like, do you plan to work at all this week or?
No, I've listen.
It's gonna.
I came home through Reykjavik, Iceland. That was my flight.
Ooh.
I went Stockholm, Iceland, Toronto, Ottawa. I think I deserve a day.
Milk
a long
run.
day.
Who's booking
was
your flights? Hey.
I booked it because I couldn't get any. If I wanted to go, there's a flight now. You can go Ottawa, Paris direct, which is awesome.
Mhm.
But
Oh, wow.
the flight from Stockholm to Paris left at 6 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh.
And I thought, I didn't. What is happening here? Like, this
That's
is turned into like this is your life.
That's
what is
another
that
pick
shirt
from
I'm
Sweden.
wearing, by the way.
Yeah.
You guys.
That is an awful shirt.
That's you know what that's
You didn't
taken
Am
on?
I wearing a leather jacket? Like, what
No.
is that?
No, it was your favorite suit jacket.
It's a
that you
red
wore it every other day.
leather jacket. Look at you go.
Yeah,
There.
that was your A game.
Oh my god!
That's you know what that's taken on is a real camera with like a flash back in the day.
You guys are
Who'da-
inseparable, eh? Look at you. You're just like
Yeah, look at it. Frenemies
You
for
did
life, right there.
We have a great picture from London at the Olympics someday we'll put out.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
All right, Mendes, I don't want to keep you anymore.
Yeah.
We appreciate you though. So
Yeah.
enjoy
Listen,
your
I
day
always
off.
love coming on. Always love listening
Thank
to you guys too. So, I during
I have
my
one question.
yeah.
Just give me your reaction to Stutzler's goal while you were there live.
I was blown away. Like, in fact, I went downstairs to watch the overtime just off a monitor because, just getting down logistically. And I needed to do a double take because I was like, I don't think I just saw what I saw because it didn't look. And I was watching a feed. It was just a clean feed, no play-by-play or anything. We're just watching it. It's like, that can't be right. I did not just see that. Unbelievable. Like, here's a question for you guys. What's the more impressive goal in Sens history for hand-eye coordination?
oh, okay.
That one, Tim Stutzla, or Peter Schaefer on Marty Turco? Do you guys remember the Peter
Oh.
Schaefer? He flips it
Flip.
up over Marty
Yeah.
Turco. I still think the Schaefer one might be better.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
The only issue is time of day, meaning of goal. So it elevates it, right? 2 seconds left, game winner over. But I agree, just pure skill, Peter Schaefer.
yeah.
Pure skill goal for me all time is still Carlson to Hoffman though. Pure skill, best goal ever.
Oh yeah, the sauce and the
And
the finish.
Yeah,
Nobody
I don't know
talks
about
about
you
the
guys.
breakaway because the pass was so good, but Hoff put Tuch in a blender. It was a great move. So yeah, that was a goal.
You
That's
guys are
my favorite all
sleeping
time.
on. You guys are sleeping on that Alex Hemsky goal against Tampa.
Yeah, but it was Hemsky.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
All right.
Good goal though. It was a good goal.
You were on that team, weren't you, Bobby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was our big deadline acquisition. Worked well.
Yeah, the day out. Didn't he score 2 goals
Hemsky?
against you and then you got him the next day? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were like,
Yeah.
let's pull the trigger on this guy.
Sounds like he was a great room guy, Bob.
He didn't want to be there at all. He was like he was back in Edmonton 12 hours after the season ended.
What?
Yeah, dude. He had zero interest in being in Ottawa.
Didn't stay for the post-season party with the boys?
He might honestly have stayed for one. I don't know. He was planning trips with the Edmonton team while we were still playing. It was nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
But he was trying to sign. Everybody said they were trying to sign him.
Yeah, zero intention on his behalf to stay with us.
That's too bad. Okay, yeah. I love you to death. Take care.
All
Have
right.
a great day. We'll
See you,
talk to you
buddy.
soon.
Yeah. See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Milk on me next time.
Yes.
There you go. 616.
Thank you guys.
There
Just
goes
like Bert
Ian Mendes. From the
You need a
Athletic.
name for you two, like Bert and Ernie. Hey, Bert and Ernie, eh? The old Sesame Street combo. You guys are
It looks
inseparable.
It could work.
Yeah. It's got legs.
It's got legs.
Okay.
Little traction.
I saw, Mendes comes off as this really friendly guy, and he's jolly, and he's Friendez. I used to do intermissions with Mendes a long time ago for Sportsnet. I saw him in Tampa. We were getting heckled. We were doing a between the period thing, and this guy was yelling at us the whole time. Mendes turned around and he was ready to go. Like he stared this.
There's
he
a little
stared,
fire there.
There was a little fire in the belly. He stared this guy down, and he got into kind of like a little karate pose. I'm like there's something
Mendes
there.
vicious. Vicious
He-
man.
Well, he's cunning. He's cunning.
Don't trust him.
That's great though. That's a great play. Like usually guys will sneak into the room, put a little shaving cream on your phone, then call you.
Yeah.
Put a leaner against your door, some bucket. But to actually think of the fact that he just sent a glass of milk. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, like steak and eggs. Nope, just a single glass of milk. It's incredible.
I have
So
full
good.
respect for it. I'm still angry about it, but I have full respect. For it.
You got to get him back. Like I think it's the ball's in your court. Like this has been a long time coming.
But I'm just a peaceful, easygoing guy. I don't want to have any kind of issues, so I'm fine.
Come on, Wally.
I'll ask Chris Neal for some help.
Came on our show and just threw down the milk story on. I think we got to.
Yeah.
Anyways, ball's in your court.
Okay,
Yorkie
fine.
and I will find a way to stir that pot. We got him, Yorkie. I'll be using our partners at DoorDash to send some stuff.
Yeah, we'll get them that way.
Use double DoorDash and get twice as much. Okay. As we move on here, Wendy's. I want to get to Did You Know as we talk about the unicorn that's on the team. It's brought to you by Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. Wendy's letting you win real food with your fantasy teams this year with the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. Just go dailyfaceoff.com. Up in the top right-hand corner, just click on the Wendy's Survivor Pool logo. Wendy's is rewarding you with weekly prizes. Download the Wendy's app, score yourself 150 bonus reward points on your first order, and grab the sweet victory from the mouth-watering jaws of defeat along with some fresh, never frozen beef. Put your prediction skills to the test and score yourself 1,300 bonus points if you win the week. Use your points to grab from our favorite menu items at Wendy's. Sign up to play Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool at dailyfaceoff.com. Win prizes like this spicy chicken sandwich from Wendy's and the Wendy's app. Wendy's, keep it fresh. All right, time for Did You Know? A lot of people know Brady's had a pretty good career, but did you know since he entered the league in 2018-19, Brady is the only player in the NHL to have recorded 1,000 hits and 500 PIMs together, Plus, of the 9 players who have 1,000 hits in the league, Tkachuk has 137 more points than the next guy closest to him, which I think is Marcus Foligno. He just does so much. I think he's got 50 more goals than anybody in that list of 9. Like, I can't imagine. Like, we all talked about Tom Wilson for a while. He's got to be the now Tom Wilson of the league, is he not?
He's a better Tom Wilson. I mean, obviously we just said it. Nobody else is doing what he does. I'm interested to see. I know his brother his brother gets into some shit too, but he doesn't hit as much, does he? Like he's not. No. Okay. When he does he just trucks guys, but Brady finishes every hit. He was think of it, Yorkie. Not a lot of players that are playing right now could have played in 2007 and before with the clutching and grabbing. I think that's when it changed.
Yeah, right after the lockout. Yeah, the 05-06 season.
That's right, because I remember that was my draft year. So, and the game got freed up quite a bit with that. There's not many players in the league now with their size that could probably play at that time. And Brady would be better in that time, which is scary to think.
Oh my God. Yeah.
He'd be like his dad, right? In the way the game's played, but it's just incredible what he's doing. Knock on wood that he stays healthy, because it's a hard game to play that way all the time, but he's a monster. He absolutely fitness and physical specimen, right? And just hope the wear and tear is not too much. And I'd like to see him just score some more goals, but he drags guys into the fight, man. That's why he's your captain.
Yeah. I would say Matthew is more evil. Like
that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Matthew is the more evil of the two Tkachuks. Like,
great way to put it.
And Brady's he's tough, but I'm not saying Brady's just he'd be the kind of guy where he's got you down in a fight and he's going to stop. Or Matthew ain't stopping.
Yeah, there's something missing up there, eh?
Yeah, they're like, when you're in a scrum and the refs can't see, one guy's taking a little further than the other guy. That's Matthew, but they're both such good players. Somebody actually tweeted me out. I forget, a couple guys, 2 brothers tweeted me out this thing last night where they sent me their 2 teams. I think we had it was like an 80 under a salary cap. Give me your team, 4 lines, 60 on who you think you can win with in the playoffs. It was pretty fun. So I threw a team together, and I had both Tkachuks on my playoff team. Could you imagine having both those guys on your team? How good you would be?
Yeah,
like just it's crazy. It's crazy. But I agree with you, Bob. Brady reminds me an awful lot of his dad. They play the exact same way. I'd say Big Walt had a little more. Big Walt had a little more of Matthews kind of in a scrum. You don't know what's going to happen sometimes.
A little more evil.
Little more evil.
Little more evil. Little touch.
Great way to describe it.
Little dash of evil. Oh, by the way, thinking of a dash of something, I just got a text from one of my buddies, Big Trev McLeod. He says, Wally and Mendes, salt and pepper.
Yeah.
No.
I love
it. Salt and pepper.
No. It's not happening.
I like that.
That's so good.
The show is over. We're listen, neither one of you are going to win the Casio watch if you keep this up, okay?
Damn you.
Anyway, let's move on. New partner alert. Our friends at Michelangelo's Roofing and Insulation. Owners Mark and Nick, huge supporters of men's mental health. They want to continue to help raise awareness. So this month, the month of November, Michelangelo's will donate a portion of the proceeds from insulation jobs booked this November to the Movember movement. Jobs can be completed anytime before October 31st, 2024, but you just got to book them this month. Included with the booking is an assessment of the home's ventilation system to ensure with new insulation, your home is warm and cozy this winter season. Big snowstorm coming tomorrow, by the way, or tonight, I should say, as well as keeping heating costs down and making your home more energy efficient. Did you know improper attic ventilation can affect the health of your home and the people who live there? Give them a call. Michelangelo's will help you all through it. They'll give you a quote if you need. Contact them today, michelangelos.com, or use the telephone. Call them 613-833-0001. Tell them Bobby sent you. Michelangelo's Roofing and Insulation, every detail covered. And by, of course, our presenting sponsor, Betano. The 2023 EGR award winner for both the best sportsbook operator of the year and best in-play sports operator. Visit betano.ca, download their award-winning app, the fastest, most user-friendly and advanced betting app for your mobile or tablet. Play the parlays, by the way. Hundreds of betting options for all things hockey, nearly every other sport on the planet. Live in-game betting and the most competitive odds on the market. Betano, the game starts now. However, you won't be betting on the NHL today because there are 0 NHL games on Tuesday and there are 0 NHL games on Thursday. Just doesn't make sense to me.
But I got to work.
Oh, poor Bob.
I'll be on the patio at the beach working. Unbelievable.
When do you leave?
Tomorrow. Flying down tomorrow night.
Is there a turkey dinner?
There's a turkey after 2:30. Got a big turkey thing happening at the hotel. So yeah.
But you're not cooking or anything.
No. I take the option on cooking for the holidays.
Could you cook a turkey if you had to?
Yes, I'm actually pretty adept in the kitchen. Pretty good.
Really?
I took classes. I did it all, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Where
I can knock out just about anything you want. We're gonna have to do a show with significant others. I'm gonna have to come in here and have someone sing my praises because my Alfredo from scratch, best you'll ever have.
Come on.
Yeah.
When did you take? So you actually took cooking classes?
Yeah, and I got really into it when I was with Bruno all the time, our buddy out in Anaheim.
Oh yeah.
So I ate there. I mean, I ate there every night when I was living in the hotel.
Yeah.
I was too young to rent a car, so he would send the car for me that they had a limo there, and it would come pick me up every night. I'd have dinner with Bruno. And then to the point where I would actually just go back in the kitchen and hang with the chefs while they were cooking, and they would teach me things. It's so much fun.
Well, Bob's talking about it's one of the best my favorite restaurant. It's called the Anaheim White House. We've talked about this before on the show. Yep. And Bruno, this is a weird connection between Bob and I because we never knew each other. Yeah. But we both are very good friends of Bruno Serrato, who owns this restaurant. One of the most generous, kind people you ever meet in your life. That's funny, Bob. I used to eat there all the time too. I never made my way to the kitchen though.
That's it. He was the ring bearer in our wedding. Like he was,
no way.
Genuinely one of my best friends. I ate there. I mean, God, I was there every night for a long time. And then obviously we've stayed close friends, but I would just, I said, Bruno, I want to learn how to make this. And he'd be like, go hang with the chefs. So I did. And,
no way.
All right. So Yorkie and I are showing up to dinner in Nashville. You're going to cook us. What are you making?
Sure shit isn't going to be a steak. I'm not ruining a piece of meat for you. I would probably do I would probably do chicken Alfredo. Some Caesar salad with some homemade dressing, maybe some garlic bread on the side. But the Alfredo from scratch is my go-to. Yeah.
It's a little peppery Alfredo, Bob, or what's your
I do it both ways. I do a very spicy Alfredo with some peri peri sauce in it. Or just a regular old Alfredo, but I can with a little garlic in it.
What about a good carbonara? Can you make a good carbonara?
Yep, I can do it all, bud.
I want a show of
who knew
and Josh Norris cooking together now.
Is Josh a good cook?
Well, he says he is.
I would love to maybe get a chicken parm on the show. My chicken parm's pretty good too.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, you have to talk to
get
and so.
I'm hiding stuff, boys.
See, I don't know why we're a year into this, and I'm just learning about this now.
You gotta ask.
Do you take the knife and do the sharpening thing at the beginning?
Not every time, but my knives are sharp.
Wow. Somebody called you Bobby the Boulangerie. You're gonna have to come up with a nickname for you being a chef now, Chef Bob.
Chef shit. I love it.
Did Bruno ever tell you, Bob, about the rookie party that we had with the Sens in there? It was epic.
He was
one of the best.
He said it was one of the best nights he's ever seen. That's all he said. He didn't go into it, but he said there was a lot happening in that restaurant that night.
Oh man, it was off the rails. I think the rookies back. Marian Hossa was a rookie. I think we only had 3, but the bill was out of control, and it was still. And Bruno took a lot off it. Like there was, it was probably the best one I've ever been a part of.
He's a generous. He's actually, so he was he donates 100 meals a day, no matter what, rain or shine, Christmas, every single day. So he's well over 5 million meals donated.
Yeah.
He was CNN's fifth place, I think, for top heroes in the world.
Yeah.
What?
And he's actually he got knighted at the Vatican last year.
Yeah.
Like
We got to get him on.
His we should get him on.
Bruno,
Well, his
be a fun guest.
his restaurants, it's very close to Disneyland. And around Disneyland, there's some very poor areas, like some very low income houses. So he feeds all these kids. Like he has this lunch program where he donates everything. Just a wonderful philanthropist.
Yeah. Yes, he is.
So Bob, just so you know, there's been a couple more nicknames coming in. Bobby Butler, of course, as former Ottawa Senator. I like
Remember
it.
him.
Bob the Butcher.
I'll take
Of course, Bobby Flay. I think it's taken, but maybe we just start calling you Bobby Flay.
I like them all.
Beat Bobby Flay.
That's it. I'll have a cook-off with a guest anytime you want.
Well, we'll do steak.
I can do a steak. I can do a steak.
I know there's something else I'm gonna ask. We're supposed to ask you about, but now I can't remember. So we might be able to save it for Thursday. I do have some notes on sends after 15 games. Also, I'd like to discuss Matthew Joseph a little more on Thursday. He's now played 82 games for the Sens, so let's see where he stacks up with in a full season with Ottawa. Until then, gentlemen, enjoy your day. Bobby Boucher is coming in. Bobby Hacksaw.
Well, listen,
Fire on the chat today.
we know one thing for sure. Salt and pepper, I think, is a keeper.
No, it's not. A keeper.
Yes, it is.
No. Nobody in the chat has brought up salt and pepper, and nobody start now
It's
either.
awesome.
I love it.
Bobby Chicken Fingers, Bobby Barbecue King, Bobby Filet-O Finger,
I filleted a few fingers and
Bobby Fryan. That's
oh
not
man,
bad.
I feel like that's a dad bod joke. I can't do that one.
All right, gentlemen. We'll see you Thursday. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching.
See you guys. Thank you.
Yep.
Coming in Hot is brought to you by Botano.ca. Please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel to never miss an episode.